They've handled everything thrown at them this season in terms of the pressures of having to perform, and this is a really different pressure you're under. Whenever, and some of them will have been very close to Greg, and to have been able to step up, and it's amazing. You really see the character of these young men there. So, look, massive congratulations to everything they've achieved so far, but especially for that game in those circumstances, and especially with a couple of the guys would have known. The two young lads that sadly lost their lives in Greece as well. So there was a lot of really raw emotions that they've had to overcome and try to play a game, because when you get news like that, it really puts it into what it is. It's sport, it's a game. But for them to do that, okay, it's just shows the management around them and how they were able to care for them, but the exceptional young men that they are.
And listen, I'm sure you've been keeping an eye over them. Six Nations win, again defending that title. Obviously, kind of a different set of players. But what do you make of this bunch? Are they as talented maybe as we all think and hope they might be?
I think that they definitely are, and I think it's you see now Ireland with the way the Sevens have performed with winning that European gold, beating Great Britain in the final. You see the under-20s, and you now see the reflection of it in the senior team, and you have done for years now. Ireland have always been strong at under-20s, but the consistency that they're showing now at that age grade is it's phenomenal, and that bodes so well for the national team going forward. And look, there are going to be some of these guys that this might be the peak of what they play, and there'll be some that'll go on and they'll represent the British and Irish Lions, and you need all of them. You need all these guys to be involved in whether it's going to be professional sport or whether it's the amateur club game, because the more Irish rugby can broaden that base, the more players we can get, the more participation we get right across from the men's games, the women's game, the mixed abilities games, the sevens games. It's so important.
Listen, the draw, I think they've got the Springboks, haven't they? Tough one.
It is, but at the same time, they beat Australia with a bonus point in fairly horrific conditions. Like, these guys, they're at a place now where they'll feel that they can beat anyone. Coming off the back of the Six Nations, going into this, and I think when you get a tough draw like that, you almost have to adopt the mentality of, well, we have to beat everyone to win it. So why not? And why can't they beat South Africa? South Africa, I think 15 years ago, the Irish senior men's had this thing of South Africa, New Zealand, Australia. It was in your head that, they're so much better, and you're nearly beaten when you step on the pitch. The senior men's team have really gone beyond that now. They expect to win every time, and the under-20s, with the way they've been the last sort of 5 or 10 years, they'll be in exactly the same mindset, and definitely the coaching staff will be.
And listen, just finally then again, I'm sure you'll be looking forward to September. Have you been talking to any of the lads about how they're feeling? You're just talking there about that kind of, it feels like Ireland now are at that level with the New Zealands, the South Africas. We shouldn't be afraid of anybody. Is this the best ever chance do you think Ireland will have of doing well in a World Cup? I'm not going to say.
I think on one hand it is, with the quality of players they have. On the other hand, you look at that quarter-final draw. If they get through a tough group, which beating Scotland, Tonga, South Africa, and Romania is going to be tough, but when they cross over, they'll probably be playing France or New Zealand, you would imagine. So on that side of it, it makes it probably one of the hardest semi-finals for an Irish team to make. But look, this is a phenomenal squad. The depth they have right across the board, the way they can win games, the way they've proven they can win games in pressurised situations, in situations where you've no hookers in the pitch. All of these different scenarios they've come through as a group over the last sort of 18, 24 months. So look, I'd be very, very optimistic about what they're going to achieve. Speaking to some of them, they're at this stage now, and I was lucky enough to have been to 4 World Cups where the start of that pre-season, all you want to do is fast forward to September. You want to be in that squad, you want to be out there, you want to play the first game in a World Cup and have everything around it, and they're just having to roll up the sleeves now and do the hard work and really work hard on the rugby side of things that they feel is going to make a big difference to make sure that they go semi-final and beyond.